gotta cook potatoes. So let's get these things rinsed off real quick. I just wanted to jump in here and say that basically it's been almost a month and a half since I competed, and it's crazy, but I feel like it's been way longer than that. Like, I feel like I've been eating now for like 6 months. It's nuts. I feel like I'm so ready. Like, I feel like I'm so ready to go ahead and do a cut again. It's nuts. Like, I can't say all the layer I'm holding on to is body fat. Like, I'm definitely holding on to water, of course, like under the skin, but definitely put some fat on. I mean, so there's a guy named John Jewett. He was talking about like body fat percentage and basically like where should the range be, and it said it could range from anywhere from 10, some people 10 to 12, 10 to 14, others 14 to 18, or even up to 20%. Don't really want to go past 20% body fat, for a male. And it's interesting. Like, so I'm at 16% body fat, and I was like 190, 191 when I did the scan, and I was 165 about a month ago. Well, a month and a half ago at the show, my lowest I saw was like 165.6. So definitely up, and I wasn't intentionally trying to put on a bunch of weight, but I did put on a lot of water really quick, and like a lot of that's pretty much stayed on, some came off, and then I just was eating. I wanted to eat, I wanted to snack and enjoy myself, so I definitely could have like probably put on less fat that quick, and I could have done things differently for sure, but I think the thing that bugs me the most is I feel like my bottom half looks like a wellness girl. I just feel like my ass is carrying a lot of excess fluff. I don't like it. I guess this is pretty much how I was before doing the cut, basically, except for I have more muscle on my frame than before, which is good. And I'm trying to be patient with, I don't know, my food, where I want my food to be at. I know what I'm eating is pretty consistent. I haven't calculated it up. There are things I could take away to really dial it in. So, for instance, like, I don't do it all the time, but I mean, like, it could even be like every other day, one of my thigh meals with a baked potato, I might put a little bit of sour cream and cheese on it. But I'm not like overloading it. But I mean, I could not do that. I hate trying to calculate that up. Like, I could measure every little bit of that. But I just don't feel like it. So that's me being lazy on my part. But I've been, at least for about 2 weeks, I've been probably sticking to 8 ounces of potato for 2 meals and 200 grams of rice for 2 meals. And then as far as like my chicken thighs, the weight, usually I'll try to get in, it's either 4 to 6 ounces. Depends on how I feel. Like, even if I don't take in the 6 ounces of thighs and I kept them at 4, my protein is still probably close to 280. So, I mean, I'm not lacking on protein. And my breakfast has been, like the two whole eggs, cup of egg whites, and then, I'll do a blueberry muffin, so it's like 360 calories, but the rest of the food isn't that high. So, I mean, as far as like my breakfast goes, it's just eggs. So, I mean, like, it versus like eating 2 pieces of toast and some peanut butter, like, it's not really much different. and I'm getting, my carbs in. It doesn't feel too heavy, so like it works. But as far as like, and then my post-workout meal. So I've been I'll do a mix of almond milk and water. And I do the unsweetened almond milk, so it's only 30 calories for a cup of it. But I've been doing that with 1.5 cups of Rice Krispie cereal. Because it's not like really high in sugar or anything like that, like as far as like cereals go. And then I'll do the 2 scoops of protein. I'll mix it all in, basically make a protein cereal, and just throw it back with like about anywhere from like 100 to 125 grams of banana. So, it's not that crazy, but like I said, like sometimes on the potato meal, like I will add some sour cream here and there, with some cheese, or if I make some eggs, I might put like a little bit of cheese, like Parmesan cheese on my eggs. Let's see. And then like on the beef meal, like the rice, I might put a little bit of cheese on the rice, with some salsa. So like I could really make it pretty boring and just stick to like really basic food without adding like the things that make it taste really good. But so I'm probably gonna maintain that. I know to grow, I mean, like you gotta eat, but you don't necessarily need to try to get fat. And I have not been doing as much cardio as I was before, that's for sure. Like in the beginning of post show, I was doing like definitely more cardio. And I've slowed that down, but I would like to do more of it. It's just I've been slacking on it, but still grinding with my workouts. But I've been doing kind of more workouts. So maybe it's kind of making up for some of the cardio I'm not doing. I mean, I have like one real rest day, the way my workouts are all split up. But yeah, it's bizarre how I couldn't wait to be over with the show, because I just wanted to be strong and all this shit. But like realistically, if I wasn't worried about competing and trying to, I don't know, like do a decently clean off season and trying to like really put on more muscle tissue, then I could have just stayed around like probably like, let's just say like mid 170 to 181. And I could have stayed definitely leaner with that, and I just would have been fuller and I would have been strong. So it's not like I had to put on this much body fat basically to be strong, because I was strong at that weight. But just water and just, body fat came up. But it's good because like at the same time I can sleep really good right now. So with the body fat coming up, it's interesting. Like you kind of like get to a point where you no longer have those cravings. And honestly, like next show, I don't even know what I weigh right now. I'm assuming over 190. I mean, if I stepped on the scale right now, it'd probably be definitely over 190. With, being towards the end of the day, but I haven't wanted to get on it yet. I figured I was going to kind of wait until like maybe this weekend and see what it is. But back to what I was saying before, what was I saying? Yeah, I kind of would have liked to have stayed, like, next time, I definitely will treat it different, as far as, like, the binging goes, and I swear, I think that when I had, like, my increases and, like, I think some muscle tissue through this prep, because I absolutely put muscle on through all 3 preps, But I feel like what really did it was when I would be in these deficits, and then I would eat these cheat meals, and maybe I would push it a little bit more than what I was supposed to at times, and I think that I mean I'd have the gnarliest workouts afterwards, just super pumped, strong, and I swear every time it was like I would increase in muscle. And it wasn't just from being full, but like it's like it would hold, and I would go do the scans, and my muscle would constantly be going up basically, and body fat was coming down. And I don't know how accurate those scans are, because I don't know if it goes off like a ratio of things, because basically it's saying right now I haven't put on any muscle, or I put on like 1% of muscle, which is like 1 pound. But when I was through the prep, I mean, it said I put on like, 5 pounds of muscle. So I don't really know. But yeah, next time, probably keep it more tight, really try to stick to a more structured, lower, being in a deficit, calorie type diet. Just like really like just super slowly reintroduce more foods. And yeah, that's how I would like to do it next time. And then if I could get to where like I'm not really in a surplus but kind of in a deficit, but then do what I wanted to do before, which I just couldn't mentally do. I just wanted to fucking eat. But if I could, not go into like a surplus really right away, I mean, it will be a surplus of what I had been having. But if I could slowly bring some stuff up, say to like 20, say if I got down to 2,000 calories and I worked up to about 2,500 calories, and then I stayed there, and then I would have a cheat meal, of some sort. I think that would really help put on tissue, because your body's so sensitive to what you're throwing in it. And yeah, I'm just like, damn, I wonder if I could have stayed doing that, would I have seen like a lot more like muscle growth? But then like you hear these people say like John Jewett, he was talking, and he was saying that he doesn't necessarily believe in like this really slow reverse diet, and like you're gonna get a lot out of it, versus like basically just going ahead, like safely going ahead and getting back up to your weight, which is basically, say, if for some people, like for me, it could be 16% body fat. That's kind of like where I was chilling at before. At times it did get to 20, but like 16 to 18 is kind of where I used to stay at. But it's different because I have more muscle on my frame than before. But yeah, he was saying that if you get back up into where you're like you're really functional, basically, like you have like your stamina in the gym, like nothing's taking a hit basically. So if you get to where you're like super efficient with your workouts, you're sleeping good and all that, like that's where you want to be basically. And then you got to kind of hang out in that that upper range of food, I guess, and just stay there, versus being in a deficit or in a slow reverse diet and then giving yourself some cheats. But to me, when I did that, it definitely seemed like it helped. So it's hard to say. Right now, it's like I just feel fat, and I can see, I can see myself getting bigger, but I'm not like necessarily trying to like I'm not pushing real hard to get to say 200 pounds. Like before, I used to struggle to hit 190. Like 188 I could get to, but I was like really pushing. But like 185 I could hang out there pretty easy. So that might be about right. So I might have really put on about 5 pounds of muscle through the entire prep to now, because I mean that kind of makes sense. Like I can easily hang out at 190. That's when I first wake up in the morning and I use the bathroom, and I'm naked. I weigh usually 189, 191. So that would kind of make sense. And my body fat said it was 16%. So, you know, I guess I put on some muscle for sure. But I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I was in that leaner condition for so long, for like, you know, almost 9 months, that yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't like it. That's for sure. Like, I wish I could just hang out around, like I said, like 181. And like, I kind of like, I almost want to try to like diet a little bit. Not anything crazy, but I kind of like want to get back to that in a way and maintain whatever the body fat is, or water around that, and just try to maintain that, and maybe I could put on some muscle. But I don't know, maybe that's just me being in my head. So yeah, well, I'm gonna go back to doing these potatoes, but I hope you all have enjoyed this. I haven't really talked much about the prep at all, like post show blues or some shit people call it. But yeah, I don't know, like, I'm feeling really good in the gym, and I like the way I look with a tank top on. I don't know. I'm sure that, like, most people, they would see me and they would think I'm like in super good shape. But yeah, I don't know. But all right, I'm gonna go. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'm gonna finish up with these potatoes. So this ain't that type of video, bud.